Hey guys, what's up? So here we go, we're back again with another combat achievement, and this time we're at Tormented Demons, and we're going to be doing 3 times the Thrashing. And the point of this combat achievement is that you have to take down all 3 Tormented Demons within 3 seconds of each other. Which sounds kind of tricky, but we can actually totally cheese this entire combat achievement using the Venom method. So we're just going to Venom cheese it. All you need, you can really bring any range gear you have, as long as you have a Serp Helm and a blowpipe. And I actually have the worst darts possible in my blowpipe. I'm using bronze darts for this. And that's because when you do your initial hit on all 3 of the Tormented Demons just to get the Venom applied, you want it to be either a low hit or you want to do the same amount of damage to all 3 Tormented Demons on that very first hit. We'll kind of talk about that as we do it. But yeah, other than that, you're gonna want to bring your absolute best tank gear. So I know for mains, this is actually really cheap. This Justy plus a Bulwark. It's probably about 50 mil or less. I know for irons it's a little harder to get this, but you can probably do this with just your absolute best tank gear. We're just going to be cheesing the entire thing, and really it's going to come down to being an endurance test, and if you have enough brews to last for the entire, it's about probably 7 or 8 minutes. But yeah, so bring your best tank gear, and we're going to be doing a Venom cheese, and we'll just kind of talk about it as we go. So, yeah, this is going to be part of the Earn Your Master Defender Hilt Combat Achievement Series, where we earn enough combat achievement points to finally get our Master Defender Hilt. And if you've been having fun with this channel, or you've been learning a lot, or you've been sticking around for a while, throw me that like, throw me that sub, and let's go do 3 times the Thrashing combat achievement. Alright, so the engage is definitely the trickiest part, and we need to get an XP drop on all 3. So there is XP drop, XP drop, XP drop. And if we do that, we know that the Venom is immediately synced, but we also need to be paying attention to how much damage we actually did, and we only hit a 2 on this middle Tormented Demon right there, so we had to catch him up a little bit, and we had a 9 on this one here, so we have to catch him up as well. And now they're all about even health. So I think we did an 18, a 20, and an 18 in total, right? So not only do you need to get an XP drop on all 3 Tormented Demons just to sync them up, but the XP drop needs to be similar. We need to do a more or less the same amount of damage, give or take, maybe like 2 or 3, maybe like 5 damage per Tormented Demon. But we need to make sure that that damage that we do with the blowpipe stays pretty small relative to each other, right? So what did I say? I think I did 18, 20, 18. So that's perfect. That's perfect. That means that they all have not only synced Venom, but synced health. And this all happens on the engage. So the engage is definitely the trickiest part of this cheese method. But once you get that triple XP drop, you have an option, right? You could either focus on how much damage you did to each one of the Tormented Demons and try your hardest to sync them up, or you could just wing it, hope that you hit really small on all 3 or really big on all 3 or whatever, and then just continue on with the cheese method. But that's a little more RNG related, right? Like maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But if you're paying attention to how much damage you actually did to each of the Tormented Demons, during the initial engage, you can get them all synced up with more or less perfect health, and at that point, it's just a survival test. And so you can see right now, after I got them all synced up, after I got the Venom applied, I just threw my Justy on, and now I'm just going to run back and forth for basically the next 9 minutes. That's all we have to do to finish up this combat achievement. So this meleeer, he keeps coming toward us, and every time he's 1 tile away from us, I run through him. I just run back and forth, and I don't run in a straight line back and forth. Here, you'll see right here, right? I make it to the end, and we make it to the end, and then we go left 1, right? And then we double back, because we don't want to accidentally walk back into one of those fireballs that guy is casting. So see, we go over 1, and then we go back. right? So we need to be paying attention to that stupid little fireball that one guy is throwing at us. Because it is possible, if you're just running back and forth blindly, you can accidentally run right back through that fireball that he just cast. And that's just unnecessary damage. It can definitely hit in the high 20s. I'm pretty sure it can even hit in like the 30s and maybe even 40. So you don't want to get hit by that fireball. Which is why we're going to always move one tile to the left or right. Here we go. Move to the right, and we run through. And then when we get over to this end, we're going to get over here, move to the left, and then when it gets close, we run through. And that's the entire method. This is literally all we have to do to finish up the combat achievement. This is what all the brews were for. We're going to throw our max tank gear on, and we're basically just going to run back and forth with our prey mage on, so we're not taking any mage hit. And hopefully our tank gear is saving us from range hits and melee hits when he does occasionally get them off. But the way that we're running back and forth right now, we end up dodging a lot of melee hits, which really mitigates a lot of the damage, and we don't have infinite supplies. So there's probably a couple different ways you could go around the supply issue if you're doing this and you're making it, they're almost dead, but you're running out of brews. And the best way that I can think of is maybe you want to drop some additional supplies, like do an extra bank trip, maybe drop a couple extra brews on the ground, and then hurry up and get back, and you can kind of juggle them, right? That way you can juggle your extra brews. And that way you can have like basically as many brews as you could possibly need. And mistakes can happen, and you can just pick up your brews off the ground. But you're going to want to juggle them, right? Because you're not going to want your brews to despawn. Yeah, but that's really all we got to do. So we're drinking brew as necessary. We're just always keeping our HP high. We don't need to worry about if our stats get brewed down. We can just keep our stats brewed down. The Venom is going to do all the work. We're not going to have to hit them anymore, especially if we got their HP synced up on that initial engage. So the initial engage is definitely the hard part. Surviving after that isn't nearly as hard, especially if you just find that you need to juggle some supplies. If you drop yourself that extra little supply drop, and juggle it throughout this 10-minute little running ordeal, you should be just fine. And I'm not thinking the supplies are going to be the limiting factor. The real hard part is, honestly, it's just going to be that engage. So you can see I do a lot of spam clicking, and what I do is I have a setting on where I can actually shift click through the monsters. So I'm doing a lot of shift clicking. That's why I can just actually, look, right here, right? I can just, I guess I don't do it right there, but I can click right through him. And if it looks like I'm clicking through the monsters, it's actually because I have that shift click setting on, which lets me run right through the monsters, and I won't get that red X on them, right? I'll just get a normal yellow X. You can see right there I do a lot of spam clicking, so what's happening is they do freeze you in place occasionally, and they'll surround you with all these little AoE fires that are going to splash into the ground. But if you just spam click in basically any direction, as long as you're just spam clicking in the direction you want to run, you don't even have to think about it. No matter where those fireballs, that AoE fire is going to land, you'll end up escaping just fine, and it's not going to be an issue. So yeah, spam clicking for this cheese method is definitely your friend. Here we go, there's that spam click, right? And we can make it right through it as long as we're spam clicking pretty much immediately. So there's really no harm in just spam clicking basically every time that you need to run from end to end, because you never know when they're going to freeze you in place. It could come at any time. And as long as you're already spam clicking, it's not going to be an issue for you. But we can see that their health is actually getting pretty low. And I actually have timers on the Venom, and if you're wondering what that plugin is, it's actually called the Venom Timer plugin. And it's really, really nice for this task because you can kind of see how much longer you should be expecting this fight to last for, how much longer until the Venom takes him down. And it even tells you what tick they're all synced up on, and you can see right now that they're all kind of having Venom occurring in the next right about now. Here we go, Venom, Venom, Venom. And they all take their Venom hit and reset. So they're all synced up, and that was due to our initial engage, right? Because when we did that initial engage, we were looking for the XP drop when we tagged all 3 of them. There it is, Venom, Venom, Venom. And they stay on that cycle all the way until they either until they lose aggro on you or until they die. They'll just stay in the exact same cycle the entire time. And we're doing pretty good on supplies. We still have 4 brews left, but keep in mind this is with Justy and a Bulwark. We have been hit by a lot of the fireballs and the AoE, and really it's just playing sloppy, but at the same time it also shows you just how sloppy you can actually play. If you don't have this gear, if you're running this with just like Bandos and then just, I don't know, whatever shield you have, maybe if you're an Iron Man or something, like I said, you might just want to drop a couple extra brews on the ground, however many that looks like, right? Maybe you got to drop 5 or 6 brews on the ground. Maybe you even want to drop as many as 10. But they're probably going to disappear, so you're going to have to be juggling them as you run across the room from side to side. But they're getting really close right now. My Venom timer says that they only have about 60 seconds left until they're down. So we're doing really good. It looks like we're going to have more than enough brews to spare. We still have 2 brews plus a dose, and we are still full HP, so technically that's excess HP as well, right? So if you do this with Justy and the Bulwark, as long as you get your engage down, as long as you have a smooth engage, this is pretty much a free task. There's actually nothing to it. We don't have to worry about any mechanics, and it looks like they are only 1 Venom tick away from finally going down. Looks like it's going to be about 10 more seconds, and they are all going to be going down at just about the same time. So here we go, and the achievement is 1, 2, 3. And all 3 of them go down in that same 3-second window, and we didn't have to do any fancy mechanics other than the initial engage. But that's it, guys. That's the combat achievement, and I hope you guys learned a lot from it. I hope this gives you the confidence to try and take them down. And yeah, the hardest part's that engage. As long as you can get that engage down, this combat achievement is almost free. So good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.